classes. All right. Anna, are you there?
Yes,
How are you, Anna?
I'm fine.
Yeah, and how is your day going? Is it, it's Friday morning in Vietnam. Is it hot?
Yeah, it's very hot.
Okay. And what will you do after today's class?
I will learn piano.
Will you relax or study or go shopping? Oh no, Anna cut out.
Um, I will relax.
Oh, just relax, yeah. Me too. I might just relax today because it's very hot in Hiroshima. It's 37 degrees, and that's very hot. All right. Hey, Fiona, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
How are you today?
I'm pretty good. How about you?
Pretty good. I'm enjoying a hot morning, and I put my two birds in the bedroom because my two birds hear human voices and they start chatting like they want to join the conversation. And they're really cute, but I don't want them to disrupt
Yes.
the class. Yeah.
Yeah, they're so chatty.
They're so chatty. There are two boy birds. I used to have a boy and girl bird, but 2 months ago the girl bird died and I was really sad. And so
Oh,
the person at the pet shop said, "Get two boys. Yeah, they're great friends, but they're so noisy together." Tina, do you have a question or are you doing some yoga? What is Tina doing?
No,
Is that for
this is a
headache?
random thing.
Oh, random thing. I thought you're getting like a headache thing like that. Go like that.
Yeah,
That's fine, Tina. All right.
but it's not about that.
Yeah, not so bad. All right, you guys. So thank you for your responses on your homework. Let me show you what I wrote. I wrote this little thing for you guys, and it's the literature debate. Mr. Andrew, can you read for today's notes I have here?
yeah.
And you'll see that I left you a nice message, everyone. And then I'll tell you what. Can you read this here?
Very good work on your debate on junk food versus good healthy food at your school cafeteria. There was also a side debate about schools having standard lunch times and favorable places to eat lunches. In all of your debates, you remember the importance of stakeholders who was affected by this debate we're having. In a few of the responses, busy parents and even grandparents were mentioned. Teachers and students meeting in the cafeteria to discuss things was important observation too made by a few people. I really enjoyed the responses because there were so many different perspectives to examine the problem of something like school lunchtime food menu and possible food truck
Yeah,
alternatives.
I was typing too fast. That should be and was an important observation, two comma made by many people. I have to do my own editing. Andrew, let's take a look at what you wrote because I liked it. It's kind of like a condensed version. Is it okay to show everyone your work? Some
Yeah.
people, yeah, some people are private, but you do nice work, Andrew. So let's take a look at the Google Chrome. All right, Andrew, can you read this one because this has a lot of different perspectives that I liked.
I think our school should definitely have an official canteen or cafeteria for students to eat lunch. Having a cafeteria would make it easier for everyone to get a nutritious meal during the day. Some students might not have enough time to pack a lunch at home, or they might not have access to healthy food. A school cafeteria can offer a variety of healthy options, making sure that all students have a chance to eat well and stay energized for the rest of the school day. Additionally, having a set lunch time instead of free time when students eat their lunches will be very beneficial. It will ensure that everyone has a designated time to take a break, eat, and socialize with friends. This can help students stay focused during classes because they know they will have a specific time to relax and refuel. A scheduled lunch period can also help the school manage the lunch process more smoothly, avoiding chaos and making sure that every student gets their meal on time.
Nice, Andrew. What I like about this is you started out with a cafeteria as a place to eat. Then you did nutrition options also. That's also part of the debate. And then designated time for socializing with friends. This is one of the things Fiona wrote about. And then time to relax and refuel. So you covered like 3 major points, Andrew. Nice work. Fiona, I'm laughing at this part because, it's a good part, socialize with friends. Fiona's speech included, yes, but there's a lot of gossip that can go on. Is that what you were saying, Fiona?
I'm smart enough to know that I'm also too outspoken.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Daily dramas is what Fiona was talking about. The daily drama, the girls, usually the girls.
all of the girls.
All of the girls. All right. Usually all of the girls. All right. And Andrew, I'll take that away because you say, hey, that's not part of my writing. All right. Andrew, you didn't do gossiping in yours. You did only a positive thing, meeting in the lunchroom to socialize with friends. Okay. Let's see. We need another reader here. And let me see what I've got here. Tina, you're not feeling too well. How about Mr. Tommy? Tommy, this next part is a nice thing if you'd like to read it.
Today
Go ahead,
I want
Tommy.
to work more with the stakeholder theme because it's important. A word connect to stakeholder is empathy. This word has been used a lot in the news, social media, and in school work. It's used in different ways. In one way, empathy means caring about other people and trying to help if you can. However, I've read other description of empathy where writers such as Britain Lawrence Friedman use it to mean that a person at least recognize that another person has reason for doing something they do. These can be good or bad thing, but we at least recognize that they have things that motivate them or make them do things, and then we try to understand why they do things.
Yeah, very nice reading, Tommy. So yeah, that word empathy, it's really an important word for you guys to learn because you'll use that in secondary school and university studies. So here's empathy.
Empathy,
Empathy, she says, with that Canadian accent. Empathy. One more time. Empathy.
empathy,
Yeah, it's a difficult one. Then in Vietnamese,
sự đồng cảm,
yeah, what do you think? Fiona, is it a good, or Andrew, is that a good translation of empathy?
I suppose pretty good.
Pretty
I
good.
got that.
One more time.
empathy,
Empathy, yeah.
sự đồng cảm,
Yeah. Now, people confuse empathy with compassion. Compassion, though. Compassion. So people confuse
compassion,
and
lòng trắc ẩn,
yeah, they're very close words. So some writers mix up compassion, empathy. It's okay if you use them to mean the same thing. But for the social sciences that you study in university, empathy is when you recognize that someone has reasons for the reasons why they do things. You say, I don't agree with the reasons, but I understand that they have those reasons, right? That's what empathy is. Empathy is. So if you don't have empathy, they sometimes say you are self-centered. So this is kind of like maybe what Fiona, you were talking about with the gossip at school in the cafeteria. You say, oh, she's too self-centered.
self-centered,
Self-centered.
tự cho mình là trung tâm,
Yeah, it's too self-centered, right? That's the opposite of compassion and empathy. So, for example, this is why I don't like Donald Trump, who wants to be the American president, because he's too self-centered. He only thinks of himself. He has no empathy, right? So I don't even understand why he says the things he says. He just has no empathy for other people. A very selfish person. All right. So I want to show you this guy. This really makes me laugh because to show high school, secondary school students this, even primary students, right? Tina, can you read? Are you okay?
Of course, it's just something is wrong with my bone, my leg bone.
Oh, okay. Would you like to read that?
Okay. For today's debate starter, I would like to think about a book you have read that has left a lasting impact on you. The question then is, why do you think this is a great book for young people and even adults to read? I'll give you an example. We have to read The Grapes of Wrath in American high school. We didn't have time to read it all because it's a long book, and I only read chapter by chapter summaries in Cliff's Notes, which is kind of cheating. Teachers tell us not to use Cliff's Notes.
Yeah, don't use them. This is what they look like. They're thin little magazine, and you used to be able to buy it for $4 or $5. You can buy these on Amazon.com. If you need help, use Cliff Notes, but don't just copy them. To tell you the truth, I think Cliff Notes are now being pushed to the side because ChatGPT can do almost anything, right? So you maybe don't need Cliff's Notes. So let's see, we have this here. This is the last part. Hey, Le Trom would you like to read the blue part?
Okay. Students use Cliff's Notes for a book like Grapes of Wrath because the themes are kind of complicated for teenage readers in high school. I'm glad I waited until I was older to read this book because by then I had this idea of empathy in my mind to think about. Grapes of Wrath has both kinds of empathy, by the way. There's the empathy where the reader feels sorry for how poor the family is in the book, but also the empathy where we do not like some of the things the characters do. But we can at least understand why they do some of those things. By the way, the book's author, John, what is his name again?
John Steinbeck.
John Steinbeck,
Yeah.
who won the Nobel Prize for his writing, stated that he did not want readers to like any of the characters too much. What mattered is that people could understand that the characters had to do things because they were in situations where they had no other choice. I think that this is why this is a great book, or masterpiece of modern American, even world literature.
Yeah, literature. Yeah, so the story Grapes of Wrath, it's about a poor family. It's a pretty big size family, and they have a farm in America. But for 2 or 3 years, they had these huge dust storms. The rain stopped, and then all of the farmland became dry, and all the food they were growing died. The family would eat pigs. They would save pigs for themselves to eat pork, and then they had to kill the pigs. So they had nothing. So they put everything on their truck and they moved to California, where they were picking fruit for other farmers. And this is in the 1930s. And they only gave the people a little bit of money. And a lot of children died because they didn't have enough to eat. It was a terrible time in American history. So you feel really sorry for the family. But the two brothers are kind of dangerous guys. The older brother kills another man, and the younger brother is just kind of mean. When he drives the truck, he kills dogs and cats with the truck because he thinks it's funny. So it's kind of like you don't like these characters. It's shocking what they do, but he's trying to show you how bad the life was for the farmers. John Steinbeck was a socialist, by the way. He believed in worldwide socialism. All right, you guys. So now this is kind of funny. I use this big idea, compassion and feeling sorry for other people. And I asked you what your favorite book is, but the boys in the other class, they chose Captain Underpants, right? And so
Yeah, I like that book because it is like funny. It is a comic.
yeah. Do you ever feel sorry for him? Like you feel sorry for this kid?
No,
No,
because
not at all.
yeah, he is like a teacher,
Yeah.
but he keeps on like defeating villains.
Okay. His behavior is so foolish. Is it difficult to feel sorry for him? Here's another one, you guys. Diary. Oh, my spelling. Diary of a
Of a
Wimpy.
Wimpy Kid.
Yeah.
I
I have that.
have like three books.
Oh, me too. I have 3 books of it too.
I
Now,
read all
every-
this already.
everyone likes this kid, right? Do you feel sorry for this kid? Do you have empathy for this kid? Andrew's smiling.
Just a little bit because of his older brother. Yeah, just
Yeah.
a little bit.
Hey, who is this? Was there a movie version of it?
Yeah.
This is the book. This is the
Oh,
book, the movie book. They show the scenes in the movie and the actors.
Oh my gosh. And then here he is. He becomes a hero. So now this kid, you come on, you must feel sorry for this kid because he's a wimpy kid, right? Okay. Special cheesiest edition. So yeah, a student used the word cheesy and I was laughing. So this is from the movie. Was it a good movie version? Did
It
anyone
is
see this?
from the based on the book The Long Haul.
Yeah. Was it good?
I haven't watched the movie yet, but the book was good.
Okay. So yeah, you feel sorry for this kid. There's the wimpy kid. All right. So what books would you guys like to choose? For today, the first thing we will do is choose a book that you think is really good. So I chose Grapes of Wrath. And this is just the Cliff Notes edition. Let me show you how the real original book looked. The Grapes of Wrath. It was made into a famous movie, by the way, but this is a long time ago, you guys. The Grapes of Wrath. So this is with the famous actor Henry Fonda. And do you know Henry Fonda's daughter is famous? Do you know Jane Fonda? Jane Fonda.
No.
No.
Jane Fonda was Henry Fonda's daughter. She's beautiful. Here she is in the 1960s, right? And here she is now. She's like 82 years old. She still looks good. But look at.
I can't see it.
Oh, you can't see. Oh, duh! I forgot to share. I'm sorry about that, you guys. One moment. Let me stop the one share. I've got 2 shares going on, so I'm terribly sorry about that. Okay, so here she is. Jane Fonda. This is a good name for you guys to learn for Vietnamese history. And you say, what, teacher? How is that? Okay, so Jane Fonda, share. Okay, here's Jane Fonda. Here she is when she was in the 1960s. She was beautiful. Americans loved her. But what did Jane Fonda do in 1969, I think? She hated the Vietnam War, so she came to Vietnam. And so here she is with the army of the North Vietnamese. She said, I hate this war. Let's stop this war. They all loved her, but many Americans hated her for doing this. And all she wanted to do was talk to the Vietnamese people about the war and why the war was terrible and should be stopped. And so when I talked about empathy, Jane was just trying to talk to people and say, what do you think about this war? And the Americans said, oh, we hate what Jane Fonda did. And no, here's Jane Fonda. She's showing the bombings of Hanoi by the Americans. This is a very good person. I think she's one of my heroes because she said, this is wrong. The Americans bombed this. And so this is Jane feeling empathy for the Vietnamese. And so she then went back to America and she said, stop the war in Vietnam. So I think she's a hero for Vietnam and America. So her father was Henry Fonda in The Grapes of Wrath. If I go back to that picture, you can see she has the same blue eyes as her father. So that's the famous movie poster. That's her father there, Henry Fonda. He was a great actor, by the way. So the family is really poor and they have to move to California. And it's a beautiful book, The Grapes of Wrath. Here's let's see, the book version looks like this, but you guys, it's a really big, thick book. So there you go. All right. Let's ask you guys your impression. What do you think is a great book? I need my original notes. Okay. Andrew, let's start with you. What do you think is a good book?
A book that you can learn something from?
Yeah, you take lessons away from it. Personal lessons. You know, you could say, Andrew, encyclopedia gives us so much knowledge, right? science book is so great, but how about a literature book with characters that you really like?
Uh, not sure.
Okay, we can wait, Andrew, no problem. Think about it. Tina, can you think of a book you like?
A book I like. I don't actually remember the name, but it's kind of a scientific book.
Okay. Is it fantasy, like it has characters who help you understand science?
Yeah, sort of.
Okay. Ooh. Okay. And so when did you read this book, Tina? Like recently or last year, 2 years ago?
Like I read it last year and I put it somewhere that I forgot. I put it there.
Yeah.
Now I don't remember where I put it, so
Yeah.
I want to read it again, but I forgot where I hide it.
Did it cover biology, chemistry? What did it cover?
It's mostly about biology.
Okay. What's the other one? Astronomy. The reason I put all these here because those are the big 5 subjects in science that high school students in America study. They start with earth science, then biology, chemistry, physics, like that. So after 4 years, you should have 4 science courses. I really love my science courses. I didn't like math because I'm not good at math. All right. By the way, can I show you something here? When you mention science books, let me put this in the share. Einstein for beginners. There are mangas for students to learn in America. And I really like these beginners books. Let me show you guys these books because they're fun to read. If you could ever find these on Amazon, these are called the beginners books. Let me see. I love this one. They have professional cartoon artists from Europe and America. And so this was Einstein for beginners. And it shows you Einstein's ideas, but in manga style. And they're really difficult things to understand with Einstein. He's not easy to understand. So you have to read Einstein for beginners. And the For Beginners series has like 50 of these mangas. So I used to read them on the train in Japan, and then I could understand my high school science again. So Einstein for Beginners is really good. So if you ever need a book like that, those beginner series are really good to read. Okay, so let's go back to the notes again. Let's pick another person. Tommy, can you think of a great book to read? Okay, Tommy, are you there? Tommy?
Yeah.
Hey, Tommy, what's a good book you've read?
I think the good book is the book that most were common.
It's Conan?
No, I don't think it's Conan.
What is it, Tommy?
For me, I think it's Harry Potter.
Harry Potter? Harry Potter?
Yep.
Yeah? Okay, so which book is it? The first one, the second one? What was the best for you? What do you like best, Tommy, from? I think there are 7 Harry Potter books. Tommy, are you there?
Yeah,
What's the best Harry Potter book, do you think?
I think it's Harry Potter and the Cursed Child.
Okay, Harry Potter and the Cursed. Harry Potter and the Cursed what?
Cursed Child.
Cursed Child. Oh my gosh. That sounds so serious. Who was the cursed child? All right, is it this
It's
here?
Harry Potter himself.
Oh, it's Harry Potter himself. All right. Harry Potter. Harry Potter
The
is
next
the
one.
cursed child. Oh my gosh, that's so sad. And when you look at it, Harry was a cursed child himself. Oh my gosh. Is it the next series though?
Yep. It's not it's J.K. Rowling.
Oh, it's
It's
part.
Harry Potter's son.
Yeah, 19 years later, it's Harry Potter's son. I didn't know that. Is it good?
Yep, I have read it, and I think it's good.
Do you guys read these in English or Vietnamese?
I read it in both English and Vietnamese.
Nice, really nice. When I talk to the Japanese kids, they love Harry Potter, but they can only read it in Japanese. And the only person who read it in English is a family that lived in America. And when they came back to America, their father, who's like a doctor, said, "You must read Harry Potter in English so you remember your English skills," right? So he's a nice guy, but he's kind of strict. So there you go. By the way, can I ask you guys that question? Do you have any friends in your schools that returned from America? Like they went to America for 3 years to work for a company? Tina, do you have students like that in Vietnam?
Yeah,
Yeah. And so do they go with small family businesses or big corporations like Microsoft or Coca-Cola or something?
that's just normal people, not like big
Yeah.
companies or something.
Big companies. Because in Japan, it's usually a big company that sends the worker to America, like Microsoft or Facebook or Nintendo or Sony or Toyota cars. They send the Japanese family for 3 years. And the kids start to speak good English, but when they come back to Japan, the mothers and fathers don't want them to forget their really good English. So they take English lessons or they have to read Harry Potter or do online lessons. But it seems different in Vietnam. You guys already speak great English, so you don't have to. I mean, you could have a private teacher, but you could go to an English study center. But I think your basic schools are really good too. Let me ask Fiona that. Fiona, do you, in Vietnam by secondary school, do you think most of the students speak pretty good English?
In Vietnam, they use like is the more important to the grammar English, and they not. So when they speak English, they speak not fluently, and like yes, they speak not fluently, and it sounds like
It sounds terrible.
how to say that? No, I don't want to use the terrible.
Yeah.
It's kind of awful.
Awkward, awful.
I said awful.
Do parents send their students then to like an English center with a teacher from Australia or America to really practice the pronunciation better?
I think they already did to them. I have to plan and every week that weekend to usually learn and speak how to communicate with teachers from Canada.
Okay, so in chat I put that is oh, there's a student here. Hello teacher, I am Tuan. We have to call on Tuan then. So Bushiban in Taiwan is called Bushiban. It's an after-school study center for science and math, but you can also do English. My friend David worked in a Bushiban. He said they were kind of mean to the students. They would call students stupid and stuff, you know, and push the students and say, "Your English terrible. You study more English." And David really disliked the environment. It wasn't friendly, you guys. It's important to be a friendly English teacher so you don't scare the kids. All right. So, by the way, Bushiban is called Juku in Japan, and in Korea, it's called Hagwon. So they have these all over Asia. In Taiwan, it's Bushiban, and in China, it's Bushiban. In Japan, it's Juku, and it's Hagwon in Korea. And so you go there to study your English after school and on Saturdays. I want to see who is that teacher. We have Billy. Hey, Billy, how are you? I have to talk to some new students. Billy, are you there? Billy.
Yes, I'm here.
Billy, nice to see you. Sorry I didn't call on you. Billy, what do you think is a good English book for students to read?
The English book I think is good to read is Harry Potter. The
Okay,
first chapter.
the first book, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's put Billy's thing here.
A soccer ball, a soccer.
Billy says, Harry Potter. Billy, I was right about Billy Potter. Billy, Harry Potter book 1. Tommy, Harry Potter new series, right? Tommy, I'm going to call it Harry Potter new series with the Cursed Child, which sounds so serious, you guys. All right. And then Billy says Harry Potter, the very first book. And
Then and the Philosopher's Stone. Philosopher's Stone.
which one is that?
Philosopher's Stone.
Oh, Philosopher's Stone is book 1. Okay, thank you. That's Tommy, right? Philosopher's Stone. I read that one. I liked it, but I got busy with schoolwork, so I couldn't keep reading Harry Potter books, but they were really good. Hey, Billy, why do you like them? Why do you like that first book?
Because at the first I was not interested in book, but then when my birthday come, my parents gave me that book and I read. It was very fun and some of the thing is make me happy or make me feel funny, like sometime the witch or something they fall down something.
Very good, Billy. Billy, it's really good. So, Billy, it's an interesting point. You said the book was given as a special gift. So you could, you could say this in a debate. Books are special things when they are given by parents, grandparents, aunts and uncles, friends, brothers, sisters, anybody. Yeah. So yeah, an old woman, Billy, used to give me books when I was 8 years old. And I still remember her name. Her name was Esther. And she would buy me a book maybe 2 or 3 times a year. She was an old woman who lived in a house for old people. And I would visit her to talk because my mother was a nurse at that place. And this old woman, she wrote beautiful handwriting and she would give me money to go to the bookstore and buy mystery books. So I always have a special connection with books because of Esther. She was a remarkable person. Jenny, can we hear
so
from you?
sweet.
I know, so sweet. And she was like in her 80s. I still think of her sometime. She has a very special story, you guys. I know it's difficult for me to say this, but she was a Holocaust survivor. And so she survived the terrible Germans in World War II, and she moved to America. So she's one of Brendan's heroes. Because do you know the story of Anne Frank? Do you guys know Anne Frank?
I know the Diary of the Anne Frank.
Yeah, she was a lot like Anne Frank. Esther had to hide. I think she was in one of the European countries. She had to hide from the terrible Nazis. So me going to talk to her was very special for me because I studied war history for many, many years. So even as an 8 or 9-year-old, I knew it was really important for me to meet this woman. She was my hero. Hey, Jenny, what books do you think are important
to me.
Oh no, the brother, the brother.
I think like
Hey, little brother, you have to let big sister talk.
also I think like my feelings and my likes are changing temporarily. So maybe today I like this and tomorrow I like that. Don't really sure, but I think let me remember. His name is Hannibal. Do you know?
Hannibal?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, is that the Hannibal Lecter series?
Yes, maybe it's the last.
Last one.
Yeah.
What was that?
Like-
Was it Hannibal Rising? Is that what it was?
No, it's just Hannibal. Hannibal Rising is kind of like his childhood.
Yeah. No, this is interesting. Yeah, very good.
Yeah,
Because
I read the last. I mean, like I first know about Hannibal is when I visited my auntie house. She has a book, like the Silence of the Sheep, the Lambs,
yeah,
Silence of the Lambs, and I read all that, and I feel like I'm interested in this character because he's talented. Yeah.
yeah, it is good writing. Jenny, I was disappointed because I got the Hannibal Rising on audio CDs, which I put on my iPod. I use a really old iPod from Apple that's like 10 years old because I just love to put it in my pocket without a smartphone. And I was listening to it about 5 years ago on a train to go to my workplace in Japan. I had to travel 90 minutes, so I listened to it. But the problem with Hannibal Rising is the guy who wrote the books does the talking, and he's not a very good professional speaker. With other books that are on CD or audio, they have a really famous actor read the story, and they have these beautiful, well-trained actors' voices. The guy who wrote Hannibal Lecter, his voice is so terrible. It's a great story, but he's like, and then Hannibal saw the people coming. He has a southern accent. I think, oh my God, that sounds so bad. It's embarrassing. I think he didn't want to pay, like, to get a professional actor, you have to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe even $1 million to have them do the voice. So, and when they do, it's a beautiful speaking voice because really high level actors have many years of actor training. So the word sounds so good. But Jenny, this is a really interesting choice, you guys. The reason it's interesting is Hannibal is a terrible killer who eats people, right? And for some reason, Donald Trump really likes Hannibal too. He keeps mentioning him in the speeches, and people say, "Stop talking about Hannibal Lecter. It's really."
I also don't really agree with when he eats people, but appreciate his knowledge.
Yeah.
I really like his logical
Hannibal,
thinking.
he is a genius, right? Hannibal is a genius, but he's like a terrible man. Andrew, do you know Hannibal Lecter character?
Oh.
Yeah, he's a.
Oh, he's killer, right? He's killer.
Yeah, he's a killer, right?
Yeah, and he eats people.
He eats people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty shocking, but it's one of the best horror kind of detective books, I think. And again, if you say, well, how are we supposed to feel anything for a guy who's a killer? You know, that word empathy, going back to empathy. When you read Hannibal Rising, you see how he got to be so terrible because he's in World War II and he sees terrible things happen to his family. And that's how they try to explain how Hannibal got to be such a terrible killer. Hey, let me go back because I'm missing some people who might want to talk some more. So I'm sorry about that. Let me stop this share and then I will focus on getting some more people to speak. Was that Vu who was talking?
Yeah.
Hey, Vu, congratulations. Thanks for joining the IELTS program. You'll really like it because I get to check us. You can write as much as you want and I keep checking.
I'm quite surprised. Like I'm looking at some girls like she do like 100 essays.
Yeah. And what I like, Vu, your writing is good. You have good ideas to share.
Yeah,
so.
I find that learning like IELTS writing that gave me like a lot of vocab like without just holding a paper and learning.
Yes, this is a really good point. Reading and writing really helps your vocab without even thinking about it, right? Hey, Vu, can you give us an example of a book that you think is interesting?
Yeah, I have read about like the three-part story of the Kane family like series. Like it's about the story about like two siblings. They find out the answers about the death of their parents or about some an Egypt ancients. Yeah.
Oh,
It's written by Rick Riordan. Like you could find it on the Google's. Like yeah, like it's about Egypt Asian.
Vu, can you type that in the chat box so I can research the title?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, here we go. Do you know any
Hmm.
interesting books? Can you introduce? Oh, Billy, that's a nice question, Billy. Billy, I'm kind of an old-fashioned guy. So Billy, I'm gonna put the Incredible Journey. I think it's called The Incredible Journey. This book was made 65 years ago, Billy, but it's still really good. I recommend that to anybody. What that story is about, The Incredible Journey, it's based on a true story. It's in Canada, and it's about two old dogs and a cat from Thailand. And their owner goes to England for 1 year to do research. So he leaves the three animals with his best friends. And then the animals really want to see their old owner, so they run away. Um, and one sec, I'll tell you about that. I really recommend that book, and I'll tell you why in a moment. But Vu just gave us the Kane's Family Chronicles. What is the era on this? Vu, you said ancient Egypt?
Yeah. It's just about like two siblings. They find out why their parents dead, and on that journey, they found out a lot of secret about ancient Egypt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is it based on a
And
true
like
story?
they have the powers of the god. Like the brother he have like I forgot the god name, but I know that his father was Osiris.
Yeah. Let's see what we have. Wow, there are a lot of these, right? The Kane Family Chronicles. Author's name is Rick Riordan. That's a great Irish name. And wow, it looks really cool. So the Kane Family.
This written like his writer he has written Percy Jackson too.
Oh, okay. This guy writes a lot. Let's ask the other students. Tommy, Fiona, Billy, Jenny, do you think these look like interesting books?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. This is on Vu's recommendation. He recommends these books.
I'm
Vu-
just read one of them.
Oh, you did read one, Tommy, and did you like it?
Yeah, I pretty like it. I read it in my school and I didn't find too
Too difficult?
Yep.
So the vocabulary was just right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So Tommy recommends it too.
I
Billy,
can find two
yeah.
each of them. I just find one of them.
Hey, let's ask Mia. Hey, Mia. Mia's not feeling well today either. Hey, Mia, are you feeling a little better?
Yeah, a little better.
A little better. All right. Do you know these books?
I just drank my medicine already.
How about the Kane Chronicles? Have you heard about these, Mia?
No, I actually didn't heard about that.
Do they look interesting to you?
Because I'm not a fan of them.
Oh, not a fan of them.
Normal stories.
Mia, what do you like? Mia, can you give us something Mia likes?
So kind of a cartoon one. Alright. I'll put it in the chat.
Oh yeah, put it in chat, then I'll get it right. Billy, let me just show you guys this, but Tina and Jenny, you guys might like this. I read this in the library at the high school I was at in Taipei, Taiwan. And I never read this book because in our school, it was kind of like, oh, that's a book that only the girls read, right? And I found the old cover because this copy was so old in our library that it even smelt like an old book, right? So I took it home one weekend because in Taipei, I just wanted to relax all weekend because Taipei is a really noisy big city like Hanoi or Ho Chi Minh City, and there's too much traffic. So I would sit in my house on rainy days with a big pot of tea or coffee and read all day. And I read this book. Now, remember today's theme, we're talking about empathy or feeling sorry. I felt so sorry for these animals. In some ways, they're really intelligent, but these little animals have to travel 250 kilometers to get back to the house, and everyone thinks they're dead, and they really get badly injured. And then I won't tell you this ending. So, because this is such a beautiful story, but I almost was like crying because this was such a beautiful book. And so I sent a message to my sister. I said, I didn't know how sad this book was. She said, of course, that's why all the girls who read this when they're 11 and 12 years old, they all cry because the adventures are so sad. The animals get hurt so badly, but they keep going on and on. And it's based on the true story that a dog did travel about 350 kilometers to get back to its owner in Canada. So this author, Sheila Burnford, based the story on these. She created this fantasy story based on a true story. So, and in terms of empathy, yeah, it's really wonderful because there are these really kind people who try to help the animals. They don't know, they just help the animals. They're afraid of them. They think they're wild dogs. But when they see that the animals are really kind, they give them food and a place to sleep. So this is an excellent book, Billy, if you want to get The Incredible Journey. I recommend it. All right, I'm going to check that chat by Miss Mia. Mia wrote a new message here. Detective Mehul. All right, Detective Mehul. Let's take a look, Mia. Oh, this looks like fun. Do you guys know Detective Mehul?
No.
Mia, what's this about? He looks kind of cool.
It's a bit like Detective Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, now he works with science people. Does it teach you about science? Here's the Taiwan. This is Thai writing, you guys. That looks really funky. Andrew, what would you like to say?
Why does this look like? Why does this look poorly made?
What is the what?
This thing looks poorly made.
Poorly made. Oh my God. Andrew, it's Mia's favorite book. I don't mean to laugh, but Andrew, the way you say things is kind of funny sometimes.
Not the book, just like this picture.
It kind of looks like South Park, you know. Mia, why do you like this book so much? It just looks crazy. Look at all this stuff.
It's like a cartoon when I
Oh,
like
it's
it.
like a cartoon book. Okay. So Mia, do you enjoy some
It's
good
so
laughs?
brain rot.
Do you enjoy some good laughing with this book?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So it's not so
Sometimes it's funny.
yeah. Okay, so it's comedy also. Hey, Mia, did this help you learn English?
Yep, that
Yeah,
was English. But sometimes it was Thailand, and I don't know. I tried to find Detective Mayhole, but English.
oh yeah, so this was made in Thailand, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, because the characters look like they're from Southeast Asia or something, right? And the name Mehul, right?
Yeah,
All
Mayhole.
right. And so I'll give you a word. Now, of course, today we discussed all these heavy topics about empathy and stuff, right? Caring for other people or recognizing. But you guys could also say this. You could say it's lighthearted. Okay, do you see what I wrote there? it's lighthearted reading. It's not too serious. Here's a good word. It's not too heavy. It's the kind of book I like to read in my free time. If that's the case, that's okay. So for your homework, if you could just say, look, I don't want to read such serious books. I like Detective Mayhul is kind of easygoing, lighthearted. Andrew, can you give us an answer to the question? What kind of books do you like to read?
I like to read like comic books, like just sometimes, but normally I like to read like storybooks.
Okay. Can you give me an example?
You know the My Story series?
My Stories. No, what is it?
No, like just My Story.
Oh, your own stories.
No. Like it's book about like World War One and World War Two.
Oh, okay. And are they personal perspectives, like fictional characters?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is interesting. Andrew, this is interesting to me because when I was a boy, I used to read comic books. Here, let me show you. It was based on a fictional character called Sergeant Rock, and he was a World War II fighter. Sergeant Rock. And so boys used to read this. You would buy like a bottle of Coca-Cola, chocolate bar, and a Sergeant Rock comic book. And Sergeant Rock was supposed to be a fighter in World War II, and he was a really tough guy. Let me see, Sergeant Rock, do you see there? And here he is fighting in Italy. These were a lot of fun. I don't know if these are worth a lot of money. Mine were all damaged because, Andrew, I would read them and eat sweets, and then they would get damaged from the number of times I would read them. But I loved Sergeant Rock. I thought he was so cool. This big macho guy fighting in World War II against the Germans, right? And the Italians, Sergeant Rock. And so, there was one new Sergeant Rock, I think once a month or once a week. And I couldn't wait to buy Sergeant Rock. But it did kind of help me read about World War II. All right, Andrew, you did good reads. I think this should be okay to go on the thing. Oh, very cool. Andrew, I'm going to share screen this. Andrew, do you belong to Goodreads through your mom and dad or your own account?
No. I just normally just borrow the book from my school library.
Very cool. Yeah, so you like World War I and World War II. I didn't know that. Author's name is Jim Eldridge. So is the person he puts in the story, in his My Story, is it a true person or is it a fictional character?
Like half fiction.
Half fiction, yeah, but real circumstances. Hey,
Yeah.
Billy, look, the character's name is Billy Stevens. All right. So this guy's name is Billy. Yeah, World War I is especially interesting to me, Andrew, because I went to a World War I thing where they had the trench emplacements in the War Museum in London and England, and it was really, really cool. Andrew, let me show you that because you guys love history. So let me go back to Chrome, and let me go back to Chrome Images. Not images on Chrome, but Yahoo Images. Andrew, you might go to this place in the future when you're in college. It's called the Imperial
War Museum.
Yeah, have you been there?
No. I've like heard of it.
Oh man, it's unbelievable. I mean, they really do a good job. The British museums are usually really good. So you go inside and they have these planes and all this war stuff. But the most interesting thing, this is what it looks like outside, this beautiful old building from 300 years ago. And when you go inside, it looks like this. But one of the galleries are the World War I trenches. And this is a great way to learn about history. World War I trenches. So yeah, I went to these World War I trenches, and they have these like dolls and stuff. They have these models. It looks like this. But Andrew, the strangest thing is they use real smells in the trenches. So they have these chemicals that they use to get the rats and the mice out of the trenches because it was so dirty down there. And so when you're in these trenches, you can actually smell what they used to make the trenches clean. So it's like smelling, looking, hearing, touching. It's just like an all-around experience. So it's a great education. So tell your mom and dad, take me to the Imperial War Museum. It's a great place. All right, you guys, let's go back to the screen because we have just about 4 minutes left. And so you guys sometimes say, yeah, but teacher, what is the homework? Okay, so here we go. Here's the homework. And it's okay if you ask me a few times because our discussions go on and on and on. So here's your question, you guys. Your debate question. Imagine you have to argue for a good book for all your class. Oh, if I can spell right. Okay, do you guys see what I wrote there? I'll put it up a little higher, if I may. Right. So your debate question. Hey, Tommy, can you read the debate question? Is Tommy there? Tommy. Tommy. Hey, Tommy.
Yeah,
Can you read today's homework?
your debate question. Imagine you have to argue for a good book for all your class to read the summer vacation. Can you recommend one good book that you have to debate about? And tell why this book is good for your
Education. For example, Vu was talking about the Kane family. Vu, is it Kane Family Chronicles or Kane Family?
Yeah, about a Kane family too. They have a mom's father and the kids.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't have really have any idea about that, but like they did make me goosebumps when I while reading it. Like I like the book that gave you a lot about family's love, and a lot of like fighting scenes that very incredible. Yeah, like we have to like two normal siblings. They have the God power and they have to fight God.
Wow.
Yeah, like to save the world, and also finding the questions about why the parents dead and why they sacrifice their life for them. Yeah, and it's quite fun. It's quite fun to read about a book about some mysterious ancient Egypt. Yeah, I quite like about that topic.
Do you think it's similar like to Harry Potter? Harry has to find out why his parents died, that same idea?
Yeah, but yeah, it's more simple, like yeah, like quite similar about a kind of science fiction. Yeah, they all kind of science fictions.
Now, this is interesting because, you know, the idea of students reading about like a hero whose parents died. Do you know, like maybe 60 or 70 years ago, they would say, don't read a book like that. That's really a serious topic. So what you are describing is new realism in student fiction, you guys. This starts in the 1970s with a book called The Outsiders, you guys. And The Outsiders is about a group of young boys, their parents die, and the boys join a high school gang just to stay safe together. And some teachers didn't like it because there's a killing in the book, and they called it realism. And the author's name is S.E. Hinton. She said, well, yeah, but some gangs of kids kill other kids in America's big cities and also outside the big cities, the outsiders. Let me show you what the book looked like before we finish for today. So this was one of the first books that started to get real serious about teenage fiction. This is the book that we had to read in our first year of high school. And then this is the movie that was made. You guys, look at this picture. Do you know that all of these young guys became famous stars? Can you find one of the famous stars in here? I'll give you a hint. Top Gun, Mission Impossible.
Tom Cruise.
Yeah, that's Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is like 15 years old when he made this movie. This tattoo is just a sticker. It's not a real tattoo, but this is their gang. I can name almost all of these kids. This is Ralph Macchio. This is Matt Dillon. This is Emilio Estevez. This is Rob Lowe. All these guys got really rich in the 1980s after making this movie. Tom Cruise is probably the most famous, but all of these guys became really famous. Do you guys know the movie Karate Kid?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Ralph Macchio, who was in the Karate Kid. Just 2 years later, he made Karate Kid. Here it is, Karate Kid. And so look at him. He became Ralph Macchio, the Karate Kid. This is just unbelievable. He's still so famous, Ralph Macchio in the Karate Kid. So yeah, that's kind of interesting. All right, you guys, wonderful class. Thank you so much for the discussion. And I hope the literature topic is good for you. Of course, I'll write it one more time and put it in yellow, but I should say goodbye to you because we're about 2 minutes over. Have a safe weekend, everybody, because in summer, you know, it's really hot outside. And so be careful if you need water or good fresh fruit, right? Stay good in hot weather. So thank you, Tina. Thank you, Mia. Thank you, An. Thanks, Andrew. Thanks, Tommy.
Bye.
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 Bye-bye, Vu.
Bye.
Bye-bye, you guys. Bye-bye, Mia.
And you're gonna like send the debate motion for homework into Zalo, right?
In about 2 minutes, I will, Billy. So check.